Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and this one's got a little bit of a calm vibe about it. So I'm playing with one of the collage papers from Natalie May Scrapbooking. This one is called Ella and Macy, and I'm just using the image on the right hand side of that collage paper. I'm cutting out the face, and I am going to just be using that and kind of adding onto it myself. So I'm just positioning it where I want it to be, and I'm just outlining where the edge of the face will go, just so that I can add some white acrylic paint onto that area, just to try and help the collage paper kind of stay true to the colour that it is now, and so that I'm not getting any of that craft colour peeping through. So this is quite a good technique if you're using collage paper and you don't want it to be affected by the colours on your background. So then I'm using apricot, going off with a bit of a pastel vibe, which is most unlike me. Must have been how I was feeling this day, I think. So that was apricot, and then this is carnation. And I'm just using one of Dina's flat brushes to just brush that colour onto the page. I'm overlapping where my colours are as well. And then the last one I'm using is, I think, heather. I always want to call it lavender. I don't know why. These colours are really pretty together. They're just very subtle. Then this is a stencil from Natalie May Scrapbooking. It's one that Naomi Toki designs. She designed for a class that she did, and I cannot remember what it's called, but it's a really cool directional stencil. I really like it. And then this is a text stencil, also from Natalie May Scrapbooking, and this came from one of my classes as well. So then, once I've added a little bit of stenciling, I didn't really introduce any new colours apart from a little bit of mineral. And then I'm just adding a little bit of stamping using a grey archival ink, just trying to keep it all very tonal, so it's kind of playing really nicely together. I want the main focus of this page to be the face, so that's why I am keeping my background a background, which isn't like me, is it really? So yes, that's what's going on. That's why I've gone for these sort of slightly paler colours, because I don't want to detract too much from my focal point. So I've stuck that down using some matte medium, and then I'm going back in with mineral again, and I'm going to give her some hair. So I have kind of mapped this out in pencil where I want it to go, but then I am just kind of freestyling it really and going for it. One thing that I really like to do when I'm using faces and adding in hair is to give sort of exaggerated, long, flowy hair. I think it's just something that I really enjoy doing, and I think, you know, just kind of playing with that, not getting too caught up in making it look real. That's not what it's for, that's not what it's about. So I have added a tiny bit of grey, or is it a little bit of black maybe, a tiny bit of black to the mineral to create a slightly darker shade of that colour, and then I'm just adding some of that onto the hair just to give it a little bit more depth. And of course not really knowing when to stop. So now I am using Neocolor 2s and scribble sticks just to bring a bit of colour onto the face, add a bit of skin tone, and these are really easy to use. You kind of use them like watercolours, really. Dead easy to get the colour onto the collage paper. And you can build up the layers too. You can go in and add sort of more shading, and once one layer's dry, you then go in with a slightly darker colour, and it's quite easy to build up the depth in your image. So then I am using these palette pastels from Jane Davenport just to add a bit of blush on the cheeks, but I can tell you that any pastel will work the same, or even an old blusher if you've got one, just for the purpose of adding a little bit of colour onto the cheeks would work just as well. And here I'm just having a play with some of the other colours just to try and add a little bit more depth to the face, just bringing in some slightly darker tones, just to create some sort of shadowed areas too. And so next I've grabbed my Stabilo All pencil and I am just outlining. I'm adding in the lines on the face that have kind of disappeared and got a bit muted, and onto the hair as well. And I think this is where this face really starts to come alive. When you go back in and add your lines and you darken them up and sharpen them, that's when you can really end up bringing your images to life. And this one almost ended up with a slight cartoon quality about it, but I really liked it. It worked. And as ever, it's that, you know, knowing when to stop. When, like, you've done enough, that's enough, stop now. Don't do any more, don't overdo it. Now I'm just using my water brush and just pulling some of those lines out, just giving them a bit of water activation. And it just, that has the effect of softening those edges too. And it's always a good idea when you're working flat to tip your book up and have a look at it from a different angle, because you can think it's perfect looking at it when it's laying down flat, and then when you hold it up it looks completely different. So it's a good idea to do that too. I've just added some white splatters as well onto the hair, and then I am using my dotty stamp and just adding some dots around the edge of my page with some black archival ink. And then I am adding in my quote. I'm using quite a thick Posca pen for this, so let me just have a quick look what size this is. A PC5M, and as I often do, I am putting my words quite large on this page. This isn't often something that I make a conscious decision to do, but I think for me it's about the fact that the words are almost always on my journal pages as important as the image that's on there, and sometimes the words are more important. So when I journal, I'm often journaling stuff out of my head, and this is how I do it. And I realised recently that I actually don't often make a conscious decision to do my to do my writing big. It just happens. So here I've mapped it out, ran out of space. It doesn't matter, I'm going to write over the top of my image, and I think actually sometimes doing that, it makes them flow together, and just kind of makes it work. So here I'm just adding like little lines on the end of the letters and just kind of bringing a bit of a funk to those, the font style that I'm doing, which is basically my handwriting, and then just adding those lines on just gives it a different feel. So that's it for this page. It definitely had a very calm vibe about it, and it just shows the difference using those really muted tones in the background meant that that focal image was able to really pop on the page, and it does have a very calm feel about it. So just thinking about those colour choices when you're creating your journal pages can make such a big difference to how they finish looking. Thanks for watching. I hope you found some inspiration in this video today, and I hope to see you again soon.